Gia New Moons. I am Josie the Mustang, the Afro-Latina, Regina George of Witches, and you're aligned with the frequency of the Lua Nova podcast. And I'm back. This is not a pre-recorded episode. I am in front of my giant pink microphone and everything is good to go. I'm very excited to be back to recording. There's so many episodes that are upcoming and I have heard you. Okay. I have heard you regarding the Lua Nova Zodiac Island and wanting that to come back. Like I said, it's coming back in season 4. It will be a 2-part update. So there will be a part 3 and a part 4. And I will discuss that in season 4. Well, I won't actually discuss it. I'll just be putting it out in season 4. So I heard you and I can tell you, I'm just going to give you a small little tidbit. One of the either part 3 or part 4 will be based on the compatibility of the zodiac signs. That's why I was asking, what signs do you think are compatible? That's why I was asking that. And so that is something that I kept in mind based on your feedback as well. And I just want to let you know right now, today's episode might be a little too heavy for some. I am going to be discussing grief. I am going to be discussing lost loved ones. And so if this is just not a place, that you're at mentally, I completely understand. I recommend that you come back next week and listen to that episode instead. If you're okay with it and, you just want to hear the collective reading, that's what I'm trying to say. If you want to just listen to the collective reading, fast forward to the collective reading. And I completely understand where you're coming from. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to understand that I'm going to try to keep it as light as possible, but I do understand that when it comes to our lost loved ones that it can be difficult. Okay. So keep that in mind. And so I want to also give some shout outs really quickly to Anaya, Raphael, Nathaniel, Maricela, Zaya, and Cairo. That is an amazing name, by the way, Cairo. Thank you everywhere from Los Angeles to Savannah, Georgia, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Santa Fe. Where's this at? Spokane, Washington. Okay. Many places. Thank you for the donations to the Lua Nova Venmo and Cash App. Thank you for that. And thank you for your questions. So regarding your questions, some of you who I just named have asked me to talk about the case surrounding R&B singer David and the child that was found in his trunk. Her name was Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And I'm going to be very brief because when it comes to integrity and ethics, I take that very seriously. As a real witch who has always had a spiritual gift my whole life, I take my gifts seriously. And I'm going to be honest with you. This segment was re-recorded because I wanted to be careful about what I said. When it comes to connecting with energies, your energy or the energy of loved ones of yours, I have to have your consent first. When a loved one passes on, I still have to have your consent in order to even ask them anything. Their spirits can be in the room with me right now like they are, but unless you have given your consent, I'm not saying a word because that is crossing a boundary. And so here's the thing about this child, Celeste. I appreciate that her spirit is one where she wants a lot of people like myself to speak up. I appreciate that. But I also have to understand the ethics of it. And so I'm not going to say a lot about her because she's not here for you to hear that consent. Okay. I can hear her consent. You can't. If that makes any sense. And so it's not her family that's asking for the updates. It's complete strangers. And so yes, if her family or friends come forward and they asked me to put out a message, I will. If they ask me, hey, what are you picking up on this? Then I'll give them that information. But I am just going to say, for those of you who asked, there's nothing wrong with you asking, but I'm big on consent. This is why the Lua report doesn't exist anymore, because it becomes very difficult to discuss a celebrity without them giving me their express consent. Therefore, when it comes to this child, I can say that whatever the TMZ is trying to spin, I would be very careful about listening to it because a lot of it is complete nonsense. If you are somebody who empathizes with people like Diddy or David, you will never be welcome here. Ever, ever, ever. I will do everything in my power to transmute your energy and make you regret being an empathizer for abusers and pedophiles. Get out. You will never be welcome here. I myself have overcome an immense amount of trauma, sexual trauma, child abuse, etc. Now I want to make something very clear about the stereotypes that I'm hearing. No, all Latinas did not grow up super fast. I am an example of no. Here I am, a grown woman who still collects Hello Kitty. So I don't know what you mean about growing up super fast and that we were all so grown. No, we weren't. A lot of us had very strict mothers like mine. My mother is not responsible for my abuse. My mother raised me by herself, which means that unfortunately there were opportunities where I was around predators that she knew nothing about, because maybe I was in school or maybe I was around family that she thought she could trust, etc. Am I making myself clear? Therefore, no, every Latina parent is not sitting back and being like, well, my child's 15 now, so she's grown. I don't think, if you yourself are not of Latin descent, I need you to do me a big favor. Let me see how long I've been talking to see if I can say this the way that I want to say it. Yeah, I've been talking long enough. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, because you don't get to say anything about my people. As somebody who is half Mexican and half Brazilian, the stereotypes that you choose to feed into, that's your issue. You don't get to speak for an entire group of people though. Absolutely not. And so what you won't also do is victim shame this child who did not put herself in this grown man's trunk. Okay? We're not going to act like that's just no big deal. We're not going to act like that, because I promise you, if a body ends up in my trunk and I know I didn't put it there, everybody's going to hear about it, because just like David, I have a microphone right in front of my face, because guess what? Him and I use the exact same equipment. So what are you talking about? No lawyer could ever stop me. If I knew that I knew I didn't do something wrong, I am not shutting up about it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Use some common sense, people. But regarding her and her energy and the energy around this case, I can tell you that unfortunately, like many young girls, you can be going through so much that you let your guard down with the wrong people. And I'm just going to leave it right there, because that I don't even need tarot to tell you. I'm not going to pull out the tarot for that though. But what I am going to be doing before we jump into today's episode is I'm going to ask you, please, to go to luanovapodcast.net. And if you have not done so before, read that disclaimer, because as I always say, this is an anti-Donald Trump podcast. I am not about to go into a long, speech about that. I've said it 10 million times. If you have ever supported Donald Trump, you will never be welcome here. I don't even want you as a client. I want you to get out. Everybody else, take a deep breath for me. And exhale the BS. All right? Get that all out of your system. Roll your shoulders back. Unclench your jaw. And if you are ready, I want you to think about the message that you might need to hear from a past loved one. And this does include pets. Okay? What is the message that you might need to hear from them? And because I don't want you to feel like this is just you doing this, I'm going to pull a card for myself. But here is how it's going to differ. I'm going to give you 4 angel numbers. And of those 4 angel numbers will be an oracle card. The oracle deck is called Messages from Heaven. And before any of you ask, no, I do not believe in the Christian concept of heaven whatsoever, nor do I believe in the Christian concept of hell. However, I do believe in realms. And so that's just what this deck is called. It just happens to be called Messages from Heaven because, yes, our loved ones do go to different realms when they pass on. Energy never dies. That's a scientific thing. It never dies. Okay? So, you're going to choose an angel number. Each angel number will have a card attached to it. All right? So, think about that for a second and give me one moment. Okay. If you consent to having your oracle cards read, then you can continue. And you can choose from the following angel numbers. You can choose 212, 717, 9999, or 1313. And I will say those one more time. They will also be in the show notes. 212-717-9999 or 1313. Those are your 4 options. 212-717-9999, 1313. Do you have your option? And yes, you can always choose more than one if you feel called to. And I'm not going to be doing timestamps for these just because it honestly that gives my team unnecessary work. And also I notice the timestamps are never where I say they are. So my apologies to my team for that. But feel free to fast forward. I'll try to keep each message brief before I get to your actual collective reading for the week. Okay? All right, new moons. I want you, again, to really concentrate on the messages that you are needing to hear from your loved ones. And as I've always said, your pets that have passed on are just as important. They are spirit guides that we got to meet in animal form. Okay? And so I take any sort of connection with animals to the heart. You know, I've always been an animal lover. And the fact that I got to have a furry best friend for 16 years is not lost on me. The fact that I got to have that much time with one of my spirit guides is extremely special to me. And every single day, I talk to Hoshi. His ashes are not far from where I'm sitting right now. And it's next to his picture. There's candles. And even though I don't have all of my altar set up, because, you know, this is a temporary spot, I just want to say that it's important to understand that you don't have to wait for holidays to speak to your loved ones that have passed on. You can talk to them every single day. And I just want to make that known. And so I'm going to start with myself. And the name of the oracle deck that I am using is called Messages from Heaven. It does not have an author on here, and I did purchase this some time ago from an online botanica that I cannot find now. I wish that I could, or else I would just tell you the website that I got it from. But I've had it for some time now, and I'm gonna pull a card for each angel number that I mentioned before. I'll say the angel number before I turn the card around. I did already pull those cards. They are all face down. And I'll start with myself with my message from Hoshi. And my message from Hoshi says, I am still able to help you in an even more powerful scale as I ever could. You just have to ask. Thank you, Hoshi. And I definitely know that about you, furry friend. I miss you a lot, my sweet boy. So, before I jump into that, just give me a second, guys. I'm okay. I just miss my best friend. I miss my best friend, and he just made a noise over there because spirits are always making noises, especially when I'm in front of the mic, I noticed. Starting off with those of you who chose angel number 212. Your message says, I have not really left you, even though it may seem so. I am closer to you than you know, and that is correct. Our spirit guides, our lost loved ones, ancestors, etc., they are in a different form of energy than we are familiar with, but they're there. We just don't see them in their normal form. And I want you to think about it like this. Those of you who work with deities, you understand this. When you work with a deity, for instance, you all know that I work with Santísima, Santa Muerte. I do see her in form from time to time, but it is typically just her spirit that I feel all of the time. Okay, so just for those of you who chose that message, maybe you needed to really know that and to hear that from them directly, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the angel numbers. I scrolled. There it is. So for those of you who chose 717, your oracle card says, one thing is for certain, though my life on earth is over, I am closer to you now than I was before. I love that because I like to think of my grandmother that way. So I think that, you know, for those of us who maybe didn't get to say the goodbyes we needed to say and carry this like feeling of wanting to say more, knowing that in their passing, that they're actually always around, I think is comforting. So that is your message, those of you who chose angel number 717. For those of you who chose 9999, the oracle card for you says, I am so proud of you. Please never doubt that. And I love you so much. Oh, that is beautiful. So for those of you who chose 9999, your loved one, they wanted you to know they're proud of you and that they love you. Okay? And for those of you who chose 1313, this card says, it is hard at the beginning, but I know you will make it through. I hope it helps to know that I will be waiting here for you. Absolutely. And that is true, because we all at some point we turn into energy again. Okay? And so I want you to all to understand that is not something to fear. That I know many of us have been taught to fear that, oh, if you don't act right, then you're going to go to hell. Hell is a state of mind. Hell is not a place in the physical realm. Okay? And you're welcome to debate that with somebody else. Don't try to debate that with me. But I know that has been used to control many of you. And so knowing that, yes, in another realm, that you can connect with any energy that you want to connect with, I hope that set your mind at ease. And so again, those were your messages that come from your passed on loved ones. I hope that I was able to set your mind at ease a little bit. And I know that was heavy. And so because that was heavy, I want to introduce you to a new segment. So I have a new segment, and it is based on my own, I guess, codes of conduct. Now, these are not rules that you have to follow, but one thing I like is a bunch of codes. And one thing I notice about manifestation, especially when it comes to manifestation books and podcasts, etc., that we love a good code. We love use this code to manifest money. Use this code for this. And so I came up with my own codes. And so the new segment is called Lua Nova Codes of Manifestation. You will start to hear that every single episode. And honestly, I think that we all need to lighten the mood right now. Thank you, Hoshi, for visiting. Thank you to all of the spirit guides who came to talk to me and so I could give these messages to my listeners. And thank you to all of my listeners. I know that this is difficult sometimes, and that sometimes this form of spirituality is not the fun part. But take a deep breath, because we're going to get back to the fun part. All right? So one moment. The Lua Nova Codes of Manifestation. Code 14. Your comfort zone does not cash checks. You know the vibes, new moons. If you do not consent to having your tarot read, that is perfectly fine. Also keep in mind that when it comes to any sort of collective messages, collective oracle messages or collective tarot, then my messages are for who they are for. This is not a personal tarot reading, therefore you cannot expect it to be personalized just to you. This is a collective tarot reading, and the oracle message that I just did was for a collective group of people, okay? So, if you consent, then you can stay, and let's see what your message is this week via the tarot. All right, Spirit, thank you for your help. What message do you have for my new moons? Oh, starting off with Hoshi's card, the star card. So, let's see, what else? Love when I see that in a reading. Honestly, it hasn't been popping up enough for me. I don't like the heavier energy that I've seen in a lot of readings lately. I get it, but I'd like to see some lighter messages. But let's see. Okay. 4 of Pentacles. In Spirit, should we go ahead and choose one more? What are you feeling? If you feel like we should have one more, this one's standing out, so I guess that's my answer. Okay. Oh. All right, new moons. I'm not going to tell you the last card. Let's let it be a surprise for you. Yep. So you think you could fool me, and then I pull out the tarot and it tells me everything I need to know. Starting off with the star card. This is your time of manifesting. I've been saying that over and over and over again. And the confirmation is the star card. The star card is about knowing that your faith is going to pay off. It's this feeling of rejuvenation, of I'm ready, I've been ready, and now I'm not just saying the words, I'm doing everything I can to manifest the life that I want. I'm relaxing when I need to. I'm putting my needs where they need to be. I'm making my loved ones a priority, because I think some of you missed that part of my message. When I say that you have to be selfish when it comes to manifesting, that doesn't mean you get to shit all over your loved ones. It doesn't mean you get to leave them behind, mistreat them, or put them down, lack gratitude, etc. Because I do see that side of things. Well, I'm putting myself first. Yes, but those loved ones have always been there for you. And I know that I needed to say that because somebody needed to hear that. They have always been there for you, your friends, your family, etc. And they owe you nothing. Remember that. And I understand that for those of you who are about to say, well, I don't owe them anything either. Correct. But you see, when they're no longer there, because you decided that being selfish meant that you got a free pass to be a terrible person, then, cry all over that money that you manifested, because that's all you're going to have left. And that's it. But don't be surprised if that's it. When I teach you about manifestation, I teach it from a level of integrity and understanding that these people who really do have your back, who really do love you and have always loved you and have always thought about you and how things affect you, that they are your spirit team too. And so don't disrespect them by thinking, well, I have to put me first. And so I can't think about anybody but me. No, when I say be selfish, I mean take care of yourself. I mean make sure that you are getting your rest. Make sure that you are taking care of your mental health. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to that, I just can't be bothered with what they have going on, because although they've always been there for me, I just don't have time. Okay, well that tells me that my messages have completely gone over your head. But the star card tells me that you're understanding that when it comes to manifesting, that there doesn't have to be this big list of to-dos every day. It doesn't have to be, well, I have to go about it this way by the book because this is what I read. And so combining all these manifestation books means that I need to make this as difficult as possible. No, actually, that's the exact opposite of what manifesting should be like. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to have fun at this. You're supposed to relax. You're supposed to allow. Okay, that's what the divine feminine has taught us. Divine feminine energy is about receiving manifestations. Divine masculine energy is about the doing. It is time for you to switch into that divine feminine phase of allowing the universe to finally give you what you want, because they keep trying to. When I refer to the universe, I'm referring to that giant spirit team that you have that is always working in the background. The star card is confirming that for me. This is what I'm seeing for you. And I'm definitely picking up on Leo energy, by the way. So somebody that's got heavy Leo in their birth chart, I'm talking to you. 4 Pentacles. So, I want you to understand that in life, there's things that we want, and then there's things that we need. For instance, I have to buy a coffee table. Do I want to buy a new coffee table? To be perfectly honest with you, I like the one I had, but it got ruined. The glass broke, so I have to buy another one. Do you think that I'm about to pull out my card and be like, well, let's just buy the cheapest one? Hell no. I am buying what I want, because I know the universe always provides. I know that whatever it is going to keep working out for me. It's going to keep happening for me. So swipe that card. I'm not saying don't save. Please do save. I don't care if you can only save $1 a month. That is better than nothing, because at the end of the year, when you look back, you're not looking at the number itself. Remember, $1 has the same has the same frequency as $1 billion. They are the same frequency. So what you are telling the universe when you hold on to something tightly is, I don't really believe that good things will happen. I'm worried that things won't really happen for me. But you see, the star card was already telling you that they're already happening. If you would just sit back and allow. And so I understand Four of Pentacles energy of, well, but I need to save because I do see good things happening for me. But what if they stop? And what if they don't? What if all the good things just keep coming? Because that's what I keep seeing. I keep seeing, hold on, 371. There's a number that just popped in my head. I keep seeing some of you meeting the love of your life. That has been a strong energy that I have picked up on for about the past month, where I kept seeing strangers meeting somebody that is extremely important to them. But you see, you know how that happens? It's not based on just one factor in your life. It is based on all of them coming together. It is based on the universe seeing that this person believes in themselves. This person is showing up for themselves and others. This person is leading with integrity and ethics. This person is leading with the heart. When it comes to manifesting, what you will hear a lot of is that the worst people are the best manifestors. And because it's correct. Because they don't care about ethics or morality or anything like that. However, the reason why I teach the opposite of that is that I'm like, yeah, but you know the part of the story that you keep leaving out is that when you manifest that giant life and everybody hates you, that is not really the goal. That's not the goal. The goal is to actually enjoy what you manifest. The goal is to actually be happy in your manifestations. And so what I need you to do is, yes, it's okay to save. Yes, it's okay to buy those big purchases and to understand that the universe will keep providing. It's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person because you wanted to buy something. It doesn't make you a bad person because you need a new car. It's okay. Think about your decisions, yes. Don't just buy dumb stuff just because. However, I want you to finally release those shoulders. I'm talking to myself as well. Release those shoulders and say, you know what? I got this because my spirit team has always had my back, and they will. It will continue to. And so to confirm what I already saw, which is why I started off this reading the way I did, is the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords tells me that a lot of what you're worried about is only in your head. I want you to tune out the noise. Libra, I'm picking up on your energy big time, and it could be because it's currently Libra season, but you see, Libra is about balance, right? And I understand that there needs to be a balance between work, between your friends, between your loved ones, and between you taking care of yourself. In that balance needs to be you taking care of you. I said that part last on purpose because I want to really emphasize you taking care of yourself. If that's you vegging out on the couch, if that's you getting some errands done, if that is you getting your nails done, if that is you moving your furniture around, buying new furniture, then so be it. In this time, because I need you to take a moment for yourself. I don't care if that's 5 minutes a day. In this time to yourself, what I want you to do is to think about the feeling of what it is that you want it to manifest to begin with. You want to manifest a happy marriage. What does that feel like? And don't say to me, well, I've never been married. I didn't ask you that. I said, what does a happy marriage feel like? Think about it. That's why I paused. I want you to really think about this. What does that brand new car feel like? And if you need to go test drive it, although I used to sell cars and we hated this, I still want you to go do that. Okay? Don't waste your time, but also, you know, sometimes you do need to physically see a manifestation for it to happen. Everybody manifests differently. What does it feel like to be in this beautiful home with a staff that takes care of it? What does that feel like? The first time that you sign an employee's check, what does that feel like? Because now you are a successful business owner. What does that feel like? The first time that you get to interview somebody that you've always looked up to, what does that feel like? And so the reason why this Four of Swords energy is strong out of all of these cards is because as you are resting, I want you to meditate on what that's like. I don't care if you're like, well, I suck at meditating. So do I. But you see, there's many forms of meditation. Like I've said a million times, you don't gotta sit crisscross applesauce and, you know, hold your hand in a mudra. You don't, I'm sorry if I just screwed that word up. You do, I mean, that's great. I love that too. But if you are just taking a moment to sit with yourself and think about what I just asked you. That's meditation. Now you can go into a meditative state and really go in on this, especially if you're about to go to sleep. That's a great time to do it. But take a moment to really think about what I just asked you. What does it feel like to manifest this life that you've wanted? Because what the star card coming out first tells me is that it's already in motion. It's waiting on you. How many times do I have to say this? How many readings have I said it's waiting on you? You know what that tells me anytime I have to say a message over and over again? I sound like a parent right now, and I've never even been somebody's parent. I'm not going to tell you again. I'm not going to tell you again. I'm not going to say that in any more readings. I'm about to take off my chancla, because if you one more time doubt yourself, I'm going to throw these cards in the air and be like, you know what? You figure it out. You figure it out. Go to some reader who doesn't know what they're talking about. So they can tell you whatever it is you want to hear. Go for it. But you see this beautiful pink tarot deck that's in my hand right now? It tells me everything I need to know. And what I need to know is that many of you still doubt yourself. Why, I don't know. We're working through it. I'm not judging you, because I doubt myself as well. I'm always working on my healing. But remember when I said that, yes, we are healing. We're always going to be healing. It's time for us to celebrate. That's where you're at. The celebration part. Where is the sparkling Prosecco? Where is the charcuterie board? Okay. It is time to celebrate yourself. Put on your sparkles. Drink your Saratoga water. More on Saratoga water in another episode. But I need you to celebrate. The manifestations are going to happen whether you like it or not, because we're always manifesting. But you see, I would like for you to actually enjoy it, because if you're so busy worrying, the manifestations don't stay, do they? Because that builds what? Negative momentum. All right, new moons. I've scolded you enough. I think that you got the message. To book a personal tarot reading with me, submit your question for the 6th House Virgo segment, or read the full disclaimer, which includes spiritual consent and listener responsibility, visit the official Lua Nova website, which is luanovapodcast.net. To become a Patreon member, download the Patreon app or visit patreon.com/the Lua Nova podcast. For those of you who said that you really enjoy the collective readings, or you just want to support Lua Nova, you can do so directly via Venmo or Cash App. The Venmo username is @LuaNova. The Cash App username is $Lua Nova podcast. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Obrigada. New moons, before we wrap up today's episode, and I check to see if we have any messages from Spirit, I do want to tell you about some upcoming episodes. Like I've said before, there will be a part 3 and a part 4 of Lua Nova Zodiac Island. Thank you for the positive feedback, because I was all over the place when I recorded that, and it didn't come out as well as I wanted it to, but I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to try to improve in season 4 when I do part 3 and 4. Okay. And it will be based on the compatibility of zodiac signs, and then I'm not sure what the other part will be. All right. Keep in mind, when it comes to compatibility, it has nothing to do with just your sun sign. Nothing at all. All right. So I'll talk more about that in season 4 when I go over, when we head back to Lua Nova Zodiac Island. And I have not been watching, what is the name of that show? Love Island. I guess they have a spinoff about like where they play games or something. I have not watched that. I did see like a small portion of it, and just, it wasn't for me. But, I think I've seen enough reality dating shows to kind of know where I want to go with my version of teaching you about the zodiac. So I think I got enough, content there. I also, next week, this one, you're going to hear that, I will be teaching you about the frequency of water, how water does hold on to whatever it is that you give it. So does rice, but we're going to focus on water, because that is something that you use in spell work and in many forms of spiritual practices. Okay. So I also want to teach you another manifestation technique. At this point in podcasting, and if you're new to my show, there are 3 seasons of Lua Nova and 167 published episodes at the time that you're hearing this, 168 or 169. But you're only able to hear, I think, 100 of it because of the server that my podcast is on. But, and that's not shading them. I'm just saying that they only post some of your seasons and not all seasons. But I say all of that to say that one thing that I've always placed a big emphasis on is the importance of water. Okay. I myself only drink a particular brand. Okay. Now I am not being paid to say this, I don't even know if they work with, podcasters, influencers, etc. I only drink Saratoga because it comes in a blue bottle and it's purified. Well, it's spring water, but it's, it's pure. So I like the sparkling kind. That's just my personal preference. But I want you all, before I get into that episode next week, to get a bottle. It doesn't have to be Saratoga, a glass bottle of water. Okay. The water of your choice. I recommend that it be spring water, but it is up to you. It doesn't have to be sparkling. They do have flat water as well that comes in a glass bottle, but I want it to be in glass based on the lesson that I'm going to be teaching about water. Okay. Now, as far as the manifestation techniques, like I said, in 3 seasons, I have taught you many techniques regarding manifesting. And I have said to you a million times, you don't need techniques to manifest. However, I need you all to understand, those of you who are so quick to be like, well, I don't need techniques. Yes, but other people do. Other people do. So let's stop just being complete shitheads about the fact that some people use techniques to manifest. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have a vision board, that's a technique. If you light a candle, that's a technique. If you cast a spell, that's a technique. If you just say certain affirmations, that's a technique. All of it. If you're like, well, I don't have to manifest, I can, it's just all in my mind. Well, you're right, because we're manifesting all the time. So I don't really place a lot of emphasis on techniques anymore, but there is one that I want to teach you. And I had already recorded the episode back when we were in the middle of our move or right before we were moving, but the audio file got completely ruined. So I'm going to be redoing it. So that's another episode that you have to look forward to for October. I know this is the witches season and I need to do something witchy. Give me a moment. I don't really know what I want to go with that. I did start off the messages from our lost loved ones on purpose because I knew that going into October, we discussed Halloween and the veil being thinner, meaning it's much easier to connect with spirits during this time. Autumn is when we harvest and things of that nature. So it is just known for being a time of the year in the United States. Keep in mind, everybody is not experiencing autumn at the exact same time, that we are able to talk to our lost loved ones in an easier format. You can talk to them all the time, by the way, all of the time. And they are responding. Like I said, you might have heard if during that segment, during the oracle reading segment, you might have heard a noise, and that noise was right next to where Hoshi's ashes are. So that was by no coincidence, and I can tell when it's a particular spirit. I can. So that's what I mean. But I know that for October, I need to give you something witchy, something Halloween related. I do that every year, and I just don't know what I want to do yet. Okay. So give me a moment to think about it. If I have to end up moving that technique that I told you I'm going to be teaching you, then I'll move it to November. That's not a problem. But I just wanted to give you that. And speaking of November, another episode idea that I have, it might end up on Patreon, I don't know yet, is teaching you all about the stories behind certain zodiac signs, such as Virgo and Scorpio. If you are familiar with Hades and Persephone, then you are familiar with the story that I might be going into for the show. Okay. Persephone embodies Virgo, Hades embodies Scorpio. Feel free to look into that in the event that I end up having to move that episode to Patreon and you're not on Patreon. Okay. But new moons, let me pick up my phone because it definitely did buzz twice and see who texted us. Oh, we got a text from Spirit. And this week's text from Spirit says, let's pick a good one. This text from Spirit says, 12:12, love and unity. Love and unity are surrounding you. Share your love with others, and it will be returned to you. I love that. All right, new moons, time to wrap it up. Obrigada, new moons, for aligning with the frequency of the Lua Nova podcast and for forgiving the fact that this outro had to be recorded from my phone. And that is because it is October the 3rd. Now, as somebody who is obsessed with Mean Girls and always has been, obviously I had to mention that today, at the time of this recording, it is October the 3rd. And do I have on pink? I am surrounded by pink, actually. Always. But, I wanted to mention the date because there was the sentencing for the Diddy trial is completed. The case is now completed as far as we know. And he has been sentenced to 4 years and 2 months from what I just read. I want to send my condolences to Cassie, Jane Doe, and many other victims that weren't even a part of this case, but Diddy has a long history of terrorizing people, something that I will not get into on this show, but it is well known within the music industry and without. And, in other industries, this has been something that people knew about him for some time now. So at least there was some form of justice today. And as a survivor of severe trauma myself, I hope that this has done a little bit to ease some of the pain that some of his victims have survived. So I just wanted to mention that. I also want to say at the time of this recording, there are no updates regarding the case surrounding R&B singer David and the child that was found in his trunk, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So my condolences with the family of Ms. Hernandez, and I have a great amount of empathy for this child and what she experienced in her short life. So even though it's not something I'm going to be discussing on my show, I do hope that her spirit always feels safe coming to me and people like me that are not ever going to post for clicks and views, But thank you again to all of you who took the time to sit through kind of a difficult episode. I did try to make sure there was some lighthearted moments in it. Of course, text from Spirit and the Lua Nova codes of manifestation. Those are supposed to be the lighter parts. Don't worry. We are going to get back to the lighter part of manifesting for the rest of the season. I don't know if there'll be anything darker, but just to give you a heads up. I also want to state that, I understand it's October. This is the witches season. And so I am trying to come up with what I want to do regarding that. And I think I already said it. If I didn't say it in this recording, then music got recorded over. But I might have to move some of the ideas that I had 4 episodes to November, because I know that I need to create something for this season and the importance of the witches season and autumn and how important it is to those of us that are practicing witches and those of us who are deep into our spirituality. Okay. So this is a strong time to manifest, guys. Manifest, manifest, manifest. That is what Virgo season was all about. It was all about preparation for what is happening now, which is that wheel turning the other way. Think about the wheel of fortune, not the show, but the tarot, and how important that card is and how things can go one way and then switch to the other. And so they are going the other way. We are beginning to see a lot of justice happening. We are beginning to see a lot of karmic debt being paid off, and, hang tight, new moons. There is more to come. There are many witches like myself that are working on the energy surrounding that, working with that energy, and working to help many of you. Thank you to those of you who have booked readings with me. If you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, please keep in mind that it will be moved to 2026 because I am booked up for 2025, but I would love to do readings for you. And yes, you can even ask for me to pull out that Messages from Heaven Oracle deck. And if you need messages from the other side, I can do that for you. That is something that is available. Thank you to those of you who have contributed via Venmo and Cash App to Lua Nova. All of that information, including how to join the Patreon, is in the show notes. Patreon, I am working on new content for you. You know there's a new tier coming for those of you who want to be a part of the Snapchat. I don't even know what to put on my Snapchat right now. I'm the worst at uploading to social media, but I swear to you I'm working on it, okay? So that will be a private social media between me and the new moons, okay? So that is something I'm working on. It's not up yet, but you can still join Patreon. There's a ton of content. So, and there are 2 tiers right now. One is $5, one is $10. I will talk to you next week, new moons. I've been talking a long time, so my voice is starting to give. I need water ASAP, and it's right in front of me. Have a safe rest of your week. Remember what I said about protecting your energy and protecting the energy regarding who you are around. I am going to keep saying that because the energy that is around us is not always the safest. Okay. That's why I kept saying that, because I kept feeling this need to. All right, new ones. I'll talk to you next week. Ciao, ciao.